Good morning. We really can see that you're out there with us, so we invite you to sing along on all of our songs and hymns. The first one, Draw the Circle Wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide, draw it wider still. Let this be our song. No one stands alone, standing side by side. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. Draw the circle wide. No one stands alone, we'll stand side by side. Draw the circle wide. And the next one, sun don't set in the morning. Sun don't set in the morning, sun don't set in the morning, Lord. Sun don't set in the morning, 'cause light shines over the world, yes. Light shines over the world. Oh, pray on, keep a praying people, pray on. Keep a praying people, pray on. Keep a praying people, light shines over the world, yes. Light shines over the world. Rain don't fall from a blue sky. Rain don't fall from a clear blue sky. Rain don't fall from a blue sky, 'cause light shines over the world, yes. Light shines over the world. Oh, pray on, keep a praying people, pray on, keep a praying people, pray on, keep a praying people. Light shines over the world, yes. Light shines over the world. Water don't rise where the stars glow. Water don't rise when the stars glow bright. Water don't rise when the stars glow, 'cause light shines over the world, yes. Light shines over the world. Sun don't set in the morning, sun don't set in the morning, Lord. Sun don't set in the morning, 'cause light shines over the world, yes. Light shines over the world. Oh, pray on, keep a praying people, pray on. Keep a praying people, pray on. Keep a praying people, light shines over the world, yes. Light shines over the world.
Good morning and welcome everyone to online worship with White Bear Unitarian Universalist Church. We're so glad you found your way and we're so grateful to share this space with you. I'm Victoria Safford and I'm joined this morning from remote spaces by Amy Peterson-Derrick, Carol Collette, Reverend Jack Gady, and Reverend Sarah Goodman, and we're supported by Anna Garris and Aaron Scott. Later this week, we hope you'll join us for online youth groups, ministry drop-ins, our Wednesday soul work gatherings. If you're new to Zoom and you'd like a little training or orientation, you can join Reverend Sarah Goodman tomorrow. And if you've not done so, please sign up for our email news, sending updates twice a week. Let us know how your beloved church community can help you stay steady and strong and resilient and courageous. Welcome to our church. Together, we grow our souls and serve the world. Come in. Come into this space which we make holy by our presence. Come in with all your vulnerabilities and strengths, fears, anxieties, loves, and hopes. For here you need not hide nor pretend nor be anything other than who you are and who you are called to be. Come into this space where we can heal and be healed, forgive and be forgiven. Come into this space where the ordinary is sanctified, the human is celebrated, the compassionate is expected. Come into this space. Together we make it a holy space. And welcome. Reverend Jack Gady will light our chalice.
As might be expected, I've been meditating a lot on change recently. Transition, reinvention. Victoria recently asked us who we want to be on the other side of this virus. I'm also sitting with curiosity about how every single day we all are changing and inventing and reinventing ourselves, our communities, and our world. I'm a firm believer that we wake up every day a different person from the people we were yesterday. Of course, there is similarity, but also there is growth, suffering, joy, confusion, successes, and setbacks. I light today's chalice for the reinvention happening in and among us every single day. Please join me in the opening words. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Will you sing Now the Green Blade Rises with me? Now the green blade rises from the buried grain, weed that in the dark earth many days has lain. Love lives again, that with the dead has been. Love is come again, like weed arising green. Long the barren winter, long the frozen night, stillness on the meadow, silent geese take flight. Sleep cold as death, the shrouded land unseen. Can love come again like weed arising green? Gently in the breast now of the slumbering earth stirs a gentle breath, the long-awaited birth. Life springs again, the river greets the sun. Love is come again like weed arising green. When our hearts are wintry, shattered by grief's pain, memories of the spring call us to life again. Fields of the heart that bare and cold have lain, love is come again like weed arising green.
Good morning. For Christians, Easter is the most important holiday of the whole year. It remembers Jesus, who lived long ago and had many names. Jesus, Yeshua, Joshua. He was a great teacher, very wise and very kind. He would come into a village, sit down on a step or a wall, and children would come up close because he was so friendly. His assistants, the disciples, would shoo them away and say, "Get back." But Jesus would say, no, let these children come up close. It was the same with people who were sick. They believed that he was wise enough to make them well and kind enough to make them feel better. His helpers would say, "Get back." And Jesus would say, "Let them come." And poor people who needed help would come, and old people, and people who were lonely, and prisoners in jail, everyone. He was wise and kind and wild, with wild and beautiful ideas. He believed the power of love is greater than the power of weapons. He believed the riches of the world are for everyone, not just for rich people. When Jesus died, his friends were deeply sad. The people who'd met him in the villages were sad. It felt like everything good was gone away. But then they started to remember. Remember how he loved children, how kind he was, how he said that no one should be poor. Remember how he always said we should never use violence to work things out, never hit each other or use rocks or arrows or go to war, but try to take the harder way and talk to each other. He would say, if someone hits you on your face, turn the other cheek. Remember how he said that each one of us could be the kindest person in the world? He said, the kingdom of heaven is inside each of us. They began to remember, and they realized they could be just like him, just as kind, just as wise, or they could try. These people who had known him became known as Christians because another name for Jesus was Christ or Christ. This was long before there were any churches. In fact, most of the people who remembered Jesus were Jews who prayed in a synagogue, just like Jesus himself. Later, people said it was as if he had never died. It was almost as if he had come back to life, risen from the dead. And many people still believe this. I believe that what stayed alive was the memory of his kindness and his wisdom and his wild belief that every one of us, every person, is beloved. No matter how you feel or what you are or what you do, you are beloved, all of us equally. Easter is when Christians remember all of this. It comes in springtime when everything feels new, even under the snow here in Minnesota. There are miracles there too. And eventually the world is green and warm again. The earth remembers. Other religious holidays happen in the spring. Passover is the great feast of remembering the story of the Jewish people. Passover tells stories of courage and justice. Easter tells stories of kindness and wisdom. We celebrate these holidays here as Unitarian Universalists because many of us come from families that are Christian, and many of us come from families who are Jewish. We celebrate these holidays because Unitarian Universalists also love kindness, wisdom, courage, and justice. And we need these old stories to teach us, even now.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. You are my family. You are the face of love. You are the face of hope. I hold you in my heart. You are a light for me. You are the face of hope.
The reading this morning is Passover Remembered by Alla Renee Bozarth. Pack nothing. Bring only your determination to serve and your willingness to be free. Don't wait for the bread to rise. Take nourishment for the journey, but eat standing. Be ready to move at a moment's notice. Do not hesitate to leave your old ways behind. Fear, silence, submission. Only surrender to the need of the time to love justice and walk humbly with your God. Do not take time to explain to the neighbors. Tell only a few trusted friends and family members, then begin quickly before you have time to sink back into the old slavery. Set out in the dark. I will send fire to warm and encourage you. I will be with you in the fire and I will be with you in the cloud. You will learn to eat new food and find refuge in new places. I will give you dreams in the desert to guide you safely to that place you have not yet seen. The stories you tell one another around the fires in the dark will make you strong and wise. At times when you will get weary and turn on each other from fear and fatigue and blind forgetfulness, I'm sending you into the wilderness to make a new way and to learn my ways more deeply. Some of you will be so changed by weathers and wanderings that even your closest friends will have to learn your features as though for the first time. Some of you will not change at all. Some will be abandoned by your dearest loves and misunderstood by those who have known you since birth and feel abandoned by you. Some will find new friendships in unlikely places and old friends as faithful and as true as a pillar of God's flame. Sing songs as you go. You may at times grow confused and lose your way. You will get where you're going by remembering who you are. Keep telling the stories. Make maps as you go, remembering the way back from before you were born, so you will be only the first of many waves of deliverance on this desert sea. It is the first of many beginnings, your Paschaltide. Remain true to this mystery. Pass on the whole story. Do not go back.
Let's really sing this song out into the world. Wade in the water, wade in the water, people, wade in the water. Who's gonna trouble the water? Who's that yonder dressed in white? You sing trouble the water. Must be the ones who wanna do right. Trouble the water. Who's that yonder dressed in red? What trouble the water? Must be the revelators gone up ahead. Trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, people, wade in the water. Who's gonna trouble the water? Who's that yonder dressed in blue? Wade in the water. Must be the children coming through. Trouble the water. Who's that yonder dressed in black? Trouble the water. Must be the hypocrites turning back. Trouble the water. Step in the water, it's gonna be cold. Trouble the water. It'll cool your body, but not your soul. You gotta trouble the water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, people, wade in the water. We've gotta trouble the water.
Our next reading is from Marge Piercy. Who shall bear hope? Who else but us? Who can bear hope back into the world but us? You, my other flesh. All of us who have seen the face of hope at least once in vision, in dream, in marching. Who sang hope into rising like a conjured snake. Who found its flower above timberline by a melting glacier. Hope sleeps in our bones like a bear, waiting for spring to rise and walk.
the snow off the tracks. I took it as a sign that spring could really come back. Need a thirstier wind to take the rest of the snow. We don't need to look in to feel what we know. Every spring is a victory when the winters are this long. At this point there's a mystery where it went wrong. The river will rise and the river may flood. More day in your eyes, more night in your blood. The river will rise and the river may flood. More day in your eyes, more night in your blood.
In the old story, which is only that, a story, very old, about human love and loss of hope and fortitude, two women are walking to the graveyard. Their friend has died, murdered by the state, which could not bear the weight of love, a government which could not bear the burden of peace, and would not listen any longer to a young rabbi's call for justice, calls for mercy, simplicity, compassion, the ranting of a subversive, naive, countercultural, simple and simplistic zealot, so annoying and so dangerous to empire. Their friend has died, has been killed, and they're going to the gravesite in the early morning to do what people always, everywhere have done. They want to wash his body. They want to touch him one last time and kiss his hair and smooth the agonized and twisted arms and legs, wrap him in clean linen, close his eyes with their own hands. Some of you have done this. I've stood with you while you've done this, honoring the body that once housed the spirit, the soul, the light, and the mind of someone. And some of you, I know, in recent days and weeks, have sadly joined the most lonesome fellowship in this corona time. All the people worldwide who've lost a loved one, whether to COVID-19 or to something else. You've lost a friend or a relative close by or somewhere far away. And the one thing you needed to see and touch and hold them one last time is not something you can do. Gathering to grieve and be held yourself is not something you can do. I'm so sorry. We know, as the women in the story know, the body becomes earth again so fast, minerals and dust and ash. They want to touch him one more time because they know that very soon, the very part of him that seemed at times most real, the physical part, will burn away, leaving nothing for their hands to hold but questions, leaving only mystery, leaving maybe nothing, or maybe memory, which is a kind of resurrection. But like most people in the throes of grief or hopelessness, these women do not yet believe in resurrection. They're walking in the dark before the day begins. Theirs is an intimate errand. They don't want anybody to see them. And they're exhausted. They haven't thought this through entirely. And suddenly one of them stops walking. She grasps the hand of her companion with a terrible thought. Who will roll away the stone for us? The body of their friend is lying in a garden, in a little cave, and soldiers sealed it shut to keep the crowd away, to let the whole affair die down. They walk faster now, fearful, wide awake. At memorials here and funerals, we speak a variation on a well-worn prayer. We say, may the beauty of their life shine and shine, and may our lives bring honor to their memory. These lines say nothing about the person's life and character, except that there was beauty in it. The lines say nothing about despair, how it punctures the spirit, ruptures the soul, crushes the will to go on. The story of the person's life and the sorrow of the people, those are held elsewhere in the service. May the beauty of this life shine and shine, and may our lives bring honor to their memory. This prayer is absolutely for the living, and it is an admonition. Keep on walking forward. Keep going, day by difficult day, into the days of more light. Walk on toward your fear. There is no other way you can go. Walk into your sadness, your rage, your doubt. Go on, despite despondency. Walk into the morning, the rest of your days, and let your love of the person, your person, and love of this life, all people, all animals, waters, flowers, the trees just coming into green, and history, music, laughter, art. Let your love shine brighter than the sun, stronger than any obstacle or stone. Let your love, which is your life, bring honor to their memory. The lines are marching orders. In the old story, the women are walking to the place of emptiness, which sometimes is the place inside you, a deadened place, hopeless place, the wintry heart. Maybe it's the place you live right now, here, 5 weeks into the shutdown. The women in the story arrive to find that the stone has been rolled away, and afterward they insist, against the patronizing scorn of experts and disciples, they insist that what they were seeking and what they truly loved had never died at all and could not in fact be killed. Something came to life in them. The ice of their grief cracked like lake ice breaking up. Their fear unlocked, their own power blossomed, and some little feathered hope flew out on bright, indestructible wings. They would tell the story of their teacher's life and death, the story of the sickness plaguing their society, the sickness of money and power and privilege, the sickness of empire. And they would tell of the mighty resistance, the revolutionary love, defiant as crocuses and buds on the trees. Love lives again, that with the dead has been, like wheat arising green. There is no reason to hope when sorrow and despair loom large. No reason at all, and so it's good that reason isn't all we've got. There are other tools in the basket, the Easter basket. In her blog not long ago, Maria Popova wrote, "To be human is to be a miracle of evolution, conscious of its own miraculousness. Our consciousness is beautiful and bittersweet, for we have paid for it with a parallel awareness of our staggering fragility, of how physiologically precarious our survival is, and how psychologically vulnerable our sanity, therefore. To make our awareness bearable," she says, "we have evolved a singular faculty that might just be the crowning miracle of our consciousness, hope, and the wise, effective action that can spring from it. It is the counterweight to the heavy sense of our own fragility, mortality, and grief. We hope precisely because we're aware that terrible outcomes are always possible, often probable, but that the choices we make can impact those outcomes." Optimism is important. Optimism relies on reason and data and evidence, as does pessimism, by the way. But hope relies on love. In another, even older story, a people held in bondage far too long, oppressed so hard they could not stand, decide all at once they're going to walk out. They have no grounds for optimism, no data, and no lived experience of freedom or joy, and yet they decide to walk toward it, toward life and light and liberation, which in fact becomes theirs. Freedom is theirs as soon as they take the first step. Pack nothing. They whisper from house to house in the night. Don't wait for your bread to rise. Be ready to move at a moment's notice. Go quickly before you have time to sink back into the old slavery. Do not hesitate to leave your old ways behind. Fear, silence, submission. Only surrender to the need of your time. Love justice. Walk humbly. You will find refuge in new places. The stories you tell each other in the dark will make you strong and wise. Make maps as you go, remembering the way back from before you were born. Sing songs as you go, and keep telling the stories, passing them on. Do not go back. The central story of Passover is the Exodus, the story of the people who walk out of their despair, not into sunlight, not into any guarantee of safety, but into uncertainty. They let go of the pain that was at least familiar and step into a future they can't even see. They wade in the water. They choose desert over bondage, and they wander there a long, long time. Some grow old and die there, Moses included, before they reach the promised land, but they are determined, they're self-determined to go on. They keep on walking forward toward the rising sun because they love dignity and life so much. This week, a lot of people have posted about the challenge of celebrating Passover when you can't even gather around a table. Passover, it's all about food and relatives and kids running around and telling the story and arguing about the story with lots of wine and matzah and brisket. There have been, as there are now, about so many things, all these lovely creative adaptations of the Seder. And at one point in every Seder, the story recounts the plagues that rained down on Egypt, trying to convince the Pharaoh to let the people go. Locusts, lice, frogs, boils, the killing of cattle, killing of children. All these threats that were not, in fact, effective. The people have to walk out on their own. And here we are now in the midst of our own plague. No act of God, just biology revealing our fragility as animals. And we are forced to reckon, like the women at the tomb with their grief and the Israelites and their slave chains in Egypt. How are we going to go forward now? What songs will we sing in this strange new land? Who are we even now? And what story will be told of this time? We have to reckon with that question because we're writing the answers right now. We're all writing that story, that history, that sacred text, that scripture verse, those Psalms, that Haggadah that tells how the people came through, how love prevailed. We are writing that story right now. And just as in the old stories, we can see more clearly now that some plagues were plaguing us all along. Like the bewildered friends of Jesus, we can see that what he was doing, what he got killed for, was calling out the sickness of society, the injustice, the imbalance, the greed. And when this storm passes over, if it passes us over, our new story is going to call us to new ways of being. There's no point in the journey if the promised land on the other side doesn't have healthcare for everybody, affordable, adequate, abundant, and reliable. There's no point in the journey at all if in the promised land on the other side, it's revealed to us that our most important workers, doctors, yes, nurses, of course, but also grocery workers, factory workers, Amazon workers, direct care providers in nursing homes and group homes, trash collectors, firefighters, childcare workers, delivery drivers, truckers are also the least paid and the most vulnerable. There is no point in even starting this journey at all if on the other side, in the promised land, we find that the people who die first and in the largest numbers, staggeringly so, are brown and black and Latinx and Native and also and always poor. This pandemic, it burns away illusions. And there's no point in the journey toward healing if we can't all come through and be free. Leave quickly, they whispered, before you have time to sink back into your old slavery. Don't hesitate to leave your old ways behind. Only surrender to the need of your time. Walk humbly. Love justice. Make maps, remembering the way back from before you were born. Tell all the stories, pass them along, and do not ever go back. Wade in the water. Walk toward your sorrow, your grief, your fear, and let them teach you what you're made of, you and your people. Let this time teach you transformation of your spirit, of our spirit, our whole world. Grief and fear unravel us every time. We know that. And we know too that by grace and will, and with the help of good companions, we stitch the losses back into the fabric of our being, and we make new meaning anchored in old wisdom that still holds. For me, the Easter story has never been about the resurrection of anybody from the dead. It's about the rebirth of imagination, the rebirth of a resilient hope that defines us as human, even in the isolation of the desert, even standing at the very tomb. We say love lives again, that with the dead has been like wheat arising green, like daffodil, maple, bloodroot, crocus, snowdrop, dogwood, and all the fierce green shoots of everything. Who can bear hope, says March Piercy. Who can bear it back into the world but us? You, my other flesh, all of us who've seen the face of it at least once in vision, in dreams, in marching, who sang hope into rising, who found its flower above timberline by a melting glacier. Hope sleeps in our bones like a bear waiting for spring to rise up and walk. For just a moment, let's hold silence all together. These words in closing come from Richard Wilbur. And I thought of this poem when I saw the photo that Jack chose, the photo by Ken Stewart, to accompany John Gorka's song that Carol sang, the photo of the stream with the melting ice that looks so much like the stream outside our sanctuary this morning. The air was soft, the ground still cold. In the dull pasture where I strolled was something I could not believe. Dead grass appeared to slide and heave, though still too frozen flat to stir, and rocks to twitch and all to blur. What was this rippling of the land? Was matter getting out of hand and making free with natural law? I stopped and blinked, and then I saw a fact as eerie as a dream. There was a subtle flood of steam moving upon the face of things. It came from standing pools and springs, and what of snow was still around. It came of winter's giving ground, so that the freeze was coming out, as when a set mind, blessed by doubt, relaxes into the mother wit. Flowers, I said, will come of it. May it be so. May 1,000 flowers bloom, and may you see them waving on your walks around your neighborhood. May 1,000 flowers bloom from the wreckage of this time, and may your love and your faith and your hands and your hope be part of the turning of the world. We'll sing together one last time.
Let us sing this song for the turning of the world, that we may turn as one. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our turning. Let us sing this song for the hoping of the world, that we may turn as one. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our hoping. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our hoping. Let us sing this song for the healing of the world, that we may turn as one. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our healing. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along. With every voice, with every song, we will move this world along, and our lives will feel the echo of our healing.
Friends, please say with me the closing words. May peace dwell within our hearts and understanding in our minds. May courage steel our will and love of truth forever guide us. Friends, thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you're new to us or visiting, please go to the little chat box at the bottom of your screen, fill out a guest card, and please sign up for our email eNews. Call or write with questions or to ask for help if you need it, or to offer help if you can. We are sending love this morning from Maple Street. Stay strong. Say well, everybody. So be it. See to it. Amen.